Look, fundamentally, what you have to understand is there's a difference between what is called conscious attraction and subconscious attraction. Conscious attraction is typically the one that you'll understand, right? It's predicated on factors that are typically within our preferences and pre-selection. So if you're a man, you will be consciously attracted to a woman who might be have that traditional hourglass figure. It might be that you're consciously attracted to women whose faces are a little bit more symmetrical, larger eyes, larger lips, blonde hair, conscious choices that you ever made around your preferences. However, there have been many circumstances in your life that I'm sure if you paused and you looked back respectively on where a woman didn't meet that criteria. She wasn't blonde. She didn't have an hourglass figure. She wasn't unattractive by any sense of the imagination. But for some reason, you felt that attractiveness. Now, that's an important point to highlight. Attractiveness is something that you feel. Attraction isn't something that you rationalize. Let me say that one more time. Attraction is something that you feel. It is not something that you rationalize, meaning you can create a feeling of attraction through one of the systems that we talk about very heavily on this channel, which is SR, which has more of an impact on your subconscious attraction. So we have a story here. We have a real story from Cooked Vegetables. When a woman calls you beautiful on SR, the beauty of man, which in my opinion, I mean, you can be a consciously attractive man, but subconsciously, the energetic factor can be even more compelling in my personal experience. So I'm currently trying to raise money for a company I helped start up. As most of you know, that involves multiple meetings, pitches with multiple folks with a lot of money. At this point, I have probably been through about 20 such pitches, but something happened a few days ago and made my jaw drop. So I wanted to come here and share with y'all in the hopes that it encourages everybody to keep going on their journey. Keep going on your journey, gentlemen. I was in the middle of giving a pitch trying to convince this well-connected rich lady to get a syndicate together that would invest in my company. This lady was probably in her late 60s or so, but it was obvious that she'd taken great care of herself because she looked great for her age. Anyway, I was going through my PowerPoint presentation and got the team slide where I had a photograph of myself, which was taken during my lower energy days. Key distinction there. This lady said, "You need to change that photo of yourself." I was caught a bit off guard and mumbled, "Huh?" She replied and said, "That photo doesn't do you justice. It doesn't display your obvious passion for what you're doing or your innate beauty." Interesting phrase. I was shocked, but managed to gather myself up and thank her for the compliment. She smiled and said, "You're welcome, and you should put that big smile on display more often." In all my life, I don't think I've ever heard a woman, young, middle-aged, or old, call a man beautiful before. I guess SR does make us seem more beautiful to the outside world, fellas. Keep retaining, keep shining, Godspeed, and remain blessed, my brothers. What I've learned more recently in my study of astral projection is your astral body is also influenced, or I believe it's synonymous with your emotional body. What do I mean by that? I mean that you have several different bodies. You have the astral, you have your etheric, you have your subtle, you have your spiritual, right? There are many different spiritual planes. There are many different parallel universes, realities that you shift up and down to without your conscious knowledge or so. The astral being one that is very open to a lot of people. And what is really interesting is your capacity to be able to astral project is deeply tied to your emotional health, which is tied to sexual abstinence as well. It's actually very, very easy, or you find yourself dreaming more intensely, lucid dreaming more intensely, getting into states of actual projection more frequently when you are abstaining, and of course when you make a conscious effort to move out of your body. There's also been some interesting documentation around individuals who are addicted to pornography, sex, promiscuity, who have their emotional or astral body being a food source for entities in these realms. I won't speak about that too extensively, but it conjures up some images which are unsavory. Now you can imagine if your emotional body, your astral body, maybe you can use the word energy if you don't like those terms, which is fair enough, is more full, more vibrant, more powerful, more open, more untainted by some of your aforementioned practices in low energy days, let's use that word, low energy days, then you're going to be able to perceive this through the subconscious feeling. Particularly women are sensitive to this because they're more emotive creatures. They have more intuition in their way and are acutely sensitive to even a photo which can only capture a certain percentage of the energy that you embody in the photo comparatively to somebody in real life, of course, speaking and present and presenting their work. So yes, the beauty of man is held in his energetic field, in his capacity for people to come in his aura, so to speak, and start to feed off it, start to bask in its joy. It becomes very, very infectious and contagious. The same way, if you've ever hang around with a friend who's, a drug addict, they're smoking weed, they're smoking, cigarettes all the time, they're shooting up heroin. I don't know, what your friends are like. Hopefully your friends aren't of that nature. But of course, their aura is very, very weak. They're very low vibrational. Their astral bodies are weak. Their emotional centers very, very weak. And it starts to diminish your capacity to also have that kind of full vibrancy. A good scale I always refer to, that I always encourage people to know, is David Hawkinson's consciousness scale. You can learn of the scale in the book Levels of Energy, in Sidonia Method, and also Letting Go or Power versus Force by David Hawkins. And this is the key for you understanding how your energy, your astral body, your emotional body oscillates between different levels throughout the day, depending on the emotion that you will allow yourself to identify with. And it's clear by this individual here saying that the photo doesn't do you justice. You have that innate beauty, that this individual is oscillating north of 200, which is courage, which is joy, which is peace, which is humility, which is all these higher positive emotions that build your astral body with more power, with more potency, and with more density. And in this way, the subconscious mind can pick up and be more sensitive towards its vibrancy. I'm curious what the comments are saying here, because it is often said that typically older women are more sensitive towards this because their brains haven't been addled yet by the short attention spans that most of the modern Western women have. Interesting terminology that I would have also heard happening to me yesterday. Can't agree more. While being tempted for reasons some of the older individuals tempt you harder. Definitely noticed that these individuals sense this energy a lot more than younger girls and women. Not sure why, but they love this particular energy. And this individual is on around 250 days, but he mentions a key point, that this is a lifestyle. He just tries to live this way. It doesn't matter what day you are on. It matters all about the energy you're able to recuperate as a consequence of your practice, right? And guess what? If you're constantly counting days, this comes from an energy of lack, of not having, of waiting for things to go terribly wrong again. These are not theories. These are facts. Make it a lifestyle. Speak soon.